For the yarn, what I used is the Line brand 24/7 Cotton DK. This is a little bit thinner of a DK yarn compared to some that I have used in the past. It is 3.5 ounces to 100 grams, 273 yards to 250 meters. It is 100% cotton, machine wash gently, so nice durable cotton. You will also need to have a size F crochet hook. And then to start, we're going to start in the very center of the top of the hat and work in rounds going out for the diameter, and then we'll come down for the main portion of the hat and then out again for the brim. So to start that very center circle with a slip knot on your hook, you start by chaining 3 crochet chain stitches. We will work single crochets through the second one, 3 around in the first one that we made, and then back into the second one and slip stitch to join. So we're going to be working all the way around. So just in that first loop of the second chain, we're going to make 1 single crochet, and then on this next side loop, make 2 single crochets, and then I want to work back around. So I'm going into the other loop on that same chain, but on the other side, make my 3rd one for that stitch. And then here is the loop for the second chain. So that was the stitch that I made the first single crochet. I want to make 2 in that. Okay. Here is my first single crochet of the round. So I'm going to go through both of those loops, make a slip stitch, and I pull that tight so it really joins it close together. And that is the end of round 1. For round 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn. So we're going to work in the opposite direction and go into each stitch and make 2 single crochets. So that's 1, 2. So where the first round we had 6 stitches, at the end of this round we will have 12. So I've finished my 12 stitches. That line diagonal is my turning chain. So I'm going to go into the first stitch that I made, make a slip stitch to join them around. Now on to round 3. So again, chain 1 and turn. Now again, I want to increase the round by 6 stitches. So to do that, I'm going to make 1 single crochet in the first stitch and then 2 into the next. And then repeat that pattern of stitch 1 in one, stitch 2 in the next. Okay, so that's the end of the round, and I will say you may want to start looking at how the row before whenever you work 2 stitches into 1 stitch versus just working 1, what those different appearances are, so that as we go you can start identifying those locations where you've made 2. So again, I'm at the end of the row, go into the first single crochet, make a slip stitch, so for round 4 again we're going to chain 1 and turn, and all we're doing each round is adding 1 stitch that we've worked as 1 single crochet. So instead of just having 1 single crochet increase 2, we're going to single crochet in the first 2 stitches. So that's the first single crochet, second. Now we're going to make our 2 single crochets in this next stitch. And then repeat that pattern of 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then we do a double. So that increase stitch where we make 2 stitches in 1. We're back to the single in each stitch. And then the double. And then again, end the round with the slip stitch. And then for round 5, this is where the pattern really starts changing, and it continues changing throughout the rest of the increases for the circular top portion. And what that is to do is to locate in different spaces where the increases will be. So if you had the locations all in the same spot, you would get a hexagon look to your top. We don't want that. We want it a circle. So we're going to move where those increases are in different stitches, different locations, so that it gets an even increase around. So again, we're going to chain 1 and turn. And then this one says to single crochet in that first stitch. Okay. And then the next stitch is where we're going to make our increase. So 2 in that 1 stitch. So that changed the pattern of where that increase location is. So now we're into repeating more of the pattern like before. So we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And then make our increase. Single crochet in 3. And then make our increase again. And we continue doing that for 5 times. And that will give us our 6 increases, because remember we had the 1 increase before we started the repeats. So there's the last of the increases. So I've repeated it 5 times, have my 6 increases. In the last portion of the instructions say to single crochet in the last 2 stitches. And what those last 2 are continuing the 3 plain. Remember at the beginning we had the 1 and then we did the increase. So this is just continuing that little section of the pattern. And then again we go into that first stitch, make a slip stitch, and we're moving on to round 6. So again, round 6, chain 1 and turn. This repeats kind of the beginning instructions of everything all together. So there's the 4 single crochets, and then your increase. So once you finish round 6, the 7th one is going to be more familiar to the round 5 where we're moving that location. And this becomes more often as we increase in the round number. So again, chain 1. We're going to single crochet in those first 3 stitches. And then make our increase stitch. So remember, that's a portion of the repeat. We'll finish it off on this tail end. But the portion we repeat is single crocheting once in the next 5 stitches. And then the increase. So now you can really see, here was the increase before, we just made it. So whenever we do 5, we've shifted that increase, instead of it being more in this area, to being here. And then we finish with those last 2 single crochets and join the round with a slip stitch. And there you can see the circle starting to form for that top portion. You continue each round, reading the locations. Each round will increase by 6. After round 18, the smaller sizes will have enough of a material to continue to the hat band. The other sizes will need a few more rounds. Work the lines depending on which size you're making, and you'll get a nice portion. You just keep on increasing a little bit for your desired size. Now, once you get to the hat band, all sizes are going to start with this first portion. And the first round is super simple. You chain 1 and you just single crochet in each stitch. So no increases, because we want it to start coming straight down, right, for that side. This one's going to be a little mini doll hat. So you just make 1 single crochet in each of those stitches all the way around. or slip stitch. You can already tell it's starting to pull that. Okay, so once you finish that round with the slip stitch, you want to take a stitch marker, and I use safety pins because I have them. They don't poke me and I don't lose them. And I just want to mark that last round of the circular increases. And that's so that as we do the hat band, you can count easier the number of rounds you've done. And it just kind of gives you that division point more recognizable. All right, so the next row is very much just what we did, except we had to mark it. So now we're going to go back around and do one single crochet in each stitch. The smaller sizes will need to repeat a little bit more to get more height. This section we will start moving into, we'll do a few more increases, and depending on the hat diameter you're making, you'll need more than others. But all sizes need some increases in order for the diameter to be wide enough to go around the head. So I'll just finish this one up like the larger sizes and then show you the increases for the headband. All right, so for the increases, you're going to make 2 single crochet, chain 1 and turn. And you're going to make 2 single crochets in that first stitch. So that's the increase of 1. Now I could tell you count so many stitches over to increase in the other half, but I like to enjoy crocheting and counting that many numbers. I lose count. You're obviously going to be interrupted at some point and lose count, and it just adds to the frustration. So how I've written it is this back portion where the slip stitch is the back of the hat. And we want the increases in the back and in the front. So I know, okay, there's my back. Somewhere in here, I want my increases. So I'm just going to single crochet around till I get somewhere in that area. And just like the increases on the top circular portion, this does not need to be exact so that it looks even and balanced. We'll go with the odds of randomness that each round will be slightly different and it all will balance out. Okay. All right, so I'm about visually where I think halfway would be, somewhere in here, and I'm going to go ahead and do my 2 stitches to increase. So each round increases by 2 stitch. So now I just need to finish single crocheting all the way back down. So once you finish slip stitching that round together, there's a paragraph that reads, repeat the rounds of even stitches in the increase round for a total of so many times. So that's line before the increase round. So the row that for the smaller sizes are 6, for the middle sizes are 2, and you do 1 for the larger sizes of just straight single crochets. And then after you do those rounds, you will again do your increase rounds. In the increase rounds, you're going to want to watch where you make your increases for the extra large and the 2x, just to make sure they're not on the same side of where you slip stitch. So some rows will be at the beginning, some rows would be at the end. And keep doing this and We'll get the stitches you need, and it'll get the rounds that you need. For the smaller sizes, you may want to go ahead and place more stitch markers to help you count how many rounds. So I've finished the round of straights. I'm back onto the increases. I'm going to chain one and turn. Now for the smaller sizes, between the increase round and the number of straight rows, you have an odd number of rows. So you would be on the right side, the alternate side of where your increase was. So go ahead and increase, make your 2 stitches and start single crocheting around. For the extra large in the 2X, we've only had 2 rows, the increase row and then the 1 row. So the increase of 2 is on this side of the slip stitch. So we're going to want to increase on this side of it to just keep balancing it out. So we're just going to go ahead and single crochet around. And again, just eyeball where that midpoint is. Okay. And then I'll make my 2 increase. Just random spot somewhere in the middle there. I think I actually passed it, but I'm not going to be worried too much about it. And then continue back down. And then for the extra large 2X, that last stitch, remember to single crochet twice into for your increase. And then we slip stitch, close the round. You keep repeating that for your number of stitch increases needed for your size. And then the next section will tell you to go ahead and chain 1 and turn and single crochet just however many rows. Now for the extra small, it does tell you you do not need to make any, but measure the height from the end of your last round. So measure from the last round all the way up to your center portion and make sure that length measures what you need for your size of hat. And that just gives it enough height to sit properly on your head. So after those straight single crochet rounds, if you need any, you're going to work on the brim, and that's the increase. So just like the top where we did so many stitches and then increased for 6 increases, for the brim you only need to increase 4 times. Now we're up to over 100, 144 for the 200 for the 2XL size. Dividing that by 4, you get a good chunk of stitches you need to count. And just like the hat height section, counting that many stitches is not that fun. So I know I need to increase in 4 spots, so I'm just going to mentally divide the hat in 4. I want to increase again on the back side and approximately the front, somewhere on each of the sides. I just increased there for my size. So I want to increase on the back side. If you had quite a few rows, it would not matter. But just how we did a mental approximation for the front portion of the hat, I'm just kind of working around till I get an approximate side. So the sides approximately there. Make my 2 single crochets. Now I want to crochet up to the front part. So somewhere around there, make 2, go back around to the other side. So around here, make 2. And then go to the end, and I am remembering I did not make the increase in that first single crochet of the round. So I want to make sure I do that on the last, and that will be my 4th increase for this round. There we go. And then slip stitch. So chain 1 and turn. And now we want to increase that round, alternating locations of the increases between the rows for an even look. So I had the 4 corners of the clock, 12. Now I want to do the diagonals. The next one I may go a little bit past the diagonals, and then I can keep moving those increases around to where it all will look even. The location of the increases is not near as important unless they're really close together. But if you had 5 in several rounds, you will start noticing the change of angle that the increases are going at. The brim will be flatter. If you only did 3, the brim will start coming down more sharp. So just keep working around to the other side. So around there. So there you can start to see a little bit of an increase for my brim. So you want to continue those increase rounds, increasing 4 each round, moving the locations evenly apart, but in different areas of the brim. And then you'll continue for so many 16 times, and it'll tell you how many stitches your size will need. And that length of the brim should be 2.5 inches. So if you want more or less, you can add or subtract. And then once you finish, you'll bind off. Weave in those ends, and there you have your bucket hat ready to wear. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe so that you never miss out on any other great patterns and tutorials from City Farmhouse Studio. Hope you've enjoyed this hat tutorial. Thanks again. Bye.